a wise man once taught me that anything you can do in someone's home that takes less than 20 minutes and less than $20, you do that for free, and that's your wow factor. You know, say you're walking through and you're saying, okay, so we got this light switch here. This operates the fan. This is how the light in the fan turns on. This is, the speeds that it runs on. You can see that it's high speed and then it's not wobbling. Oh, and by the way, I went through and I replaced all your covers on your outlets in this room as well, and the switches. I know that we didn't talk about doing that, but it's just something I thought I would do for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because what does it cost you to do?
Exactly.
Effort and, maybe $1 a plate.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's just word of mouth advertising.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, and by the way, I made sure all the screws are aligned top to bottom because they're flathead, right? Do you do that?
That's right.
Yeah. You got to do that.
From the business capital of the world, the Big Apple, New York, Middle Tennessee, it says here. Sounds riveting.
Right.
This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, a podcast about Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals.
Mostly. Yes, thank you, Mr. Matt Wilson, the big voice guy for this show. Formerly known as the What's Your Problem podcast, we decided to switch gears and change the name not too long ago, and got a new voice guy. Reason being is because he's got a podcast himself called the Mostly Marketing Podcast, which I may or may not have borrowed a name from, but we'll just call it what it is. This is the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast, where we talk about the stories, the triumphs, the challenges, the failures, possibly, but maybe even the comebacks of mostly Middle Tennessee business owners, professionals, entrepreneurs, of course. You can check us out at MMTBP.com. That website again is MMTBP.com. Find and follow us there. It is a video and audio podcast, so you can listen to us or watch us if you like. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, with JimMcCarthyVoiceovers.com and It'sYourShow.co, where we produce podcasts like this one. So if you're in need, maybe you need a new intro, we've got a deal going on. Inquire within. Check us out. Today, we're applying the mostly aspect of this to this particular show. My guests today are going to be talking about the trades, particularly the electrical trade, and the challenges that lie in those trades. Mostly the trades in Tennessee overall, I think, there's a lot of good stuff going on, but at the same time, there's a lot of challenges that come along with it as well. My guests are from Kingsport, Tennessee, right? Lauren and Michael Gamache. Welcome here to the show, guys.
It's Michael Burdette and Lauren Gamache.
Michael. I said Michael Lauren. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're not, I thought you guys were married.
Everybody says that.
Okay, Michael Burdette.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I had Gamache on my, egg on my face. Let me just, my shoes taste good right now. So you're not married. We've been sitting here talking for like an hour and a half. How did I not get that? I just assumed.
That's okay. We're married at heart.
That's right. We just didn't get the government involved.
So you're partners in the business.
And in life.
Yes.
Not together at all.
No, yeah.
No, we are together.
Okay. But not married.
Right.
Got it. Okay.
Not officially through the government's eyes.
Okay, I got you. Okay. Yeah. Let me just, let me take my foot out of my mouth.
You're doing a great job.
Thank you. I just didn't know. These things happen.
That's all right.
Of course, when we go live, they happen. But, these things do happen. So you guys, you are the proprietors of American Veteran Electrical Services, because, Michael, you served in the Navy.
Yes.
Lauren, did you serve in the Armed Forces as well?
I did not, no.
You did not? Okay.
No, my dad was also in the Navy, but...
Well, there you go.
So I'm in by proxy, I guess.
That's fine. Thank you for your service, Michael.
You're welcome.
When did you serve?
Went in 2006, got out in 2011.
Okay. So you spent some time there considerably.
Yeah.
And you got into the electrical trade, you were saying before, because you were working at Home Depot, Lowe's, those types of jobs. Mm-hmm. You had a buddy of yours who needed help on a job.
Yep.
He was an electrician.
Yep. And
you just tried it out and said, hey, this is kind of cool.
Absolutely.
Right on.
So it's like a weekend type of situation. He just needed some extra help. And, I said, I've never done it, but I'm mechanically inclined. I can follow directions. And it just went from there, I worked with them. He only did it part-time because he worked full-time for the local gas company.
Right.
He had a kidney failure, and the gas company paid for all of his medical bills and stuff like that. So he was kind of afraid to strike out on his own because he wasn't sure that he could bring in enough money to pay for his medical bills and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I went from working with him, doing kind of service work and stuff like that, to going and doing new construction with another local company.
So you started your journey with him, got your teeth cut with a bigger company, a little bit more established. Mm-hmm. Maybe they had a little bit more educational procedures, protocols in place.
Absolutely.
So they helped you to go from the apprentice to journeyman, that kind of thing, correct?
Right.
And then you eventually had to get your license, I would imagine.
Right. So one thing that a lot of people don't know is that most electrical companies have an electrical license holder.
Right.
And then the technicians who are out in the field are not licensed.
They're just covered under the umbrella of the company.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. So I didn't get my license initially in South Carolina. I did eventually get my license in South Carolina. Mm-hmm.
Was it reciprocated generally through some of the states?
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They have reciprocity degrees with Tennessee, North Carolina, a couple of different states. Some of the states you do have to take the business and law portion of the exam to get the reciprocity, but only half of the exam and not the full 2 portions of it for the master.
This is so you're a master holder?
I'm not in Tennessee. I'm not. No,
okay.
Sir.
In
Right.
South Carolina, you are.
Yes, sir. I was.
So are
it's
you
expired now?
You're an LE here.
Actually, Lauren's our license holder.
Lauren is the LE.
Absolutely.
You went
She's
and
the
took the
brains
test.
and the beauty of the operation. I took the test, Jim. I did. I took the test, and I just, it's in the field. This is one of the challenges of being an electrician in the field. You're looking at 120 volt, 240 volt, 3-way switches, stuff like that.
3-way switches bake my brain. They are the bane of my existence.
Right.
Not this guy.
Yeah.
I tell I've had a couple of new
It's
guys.
the only 3-way that's not fun. Sorry, but
Point Jeff.
thank you.
All right.
All right, moving on. Well, one of the things we're going to not get out of the way, we're going to put out there, we do something called the Dad Joke Challenge, which is a sponsored feature of the show. I'm going to raise my laptop. I'm going to look like I'm rude, but so I run the jokes off the laptop, and I'll try and peer around to look at you, Michael. The Dad Joke Challenge is brought to you by Trade Bank of Nashville. Trade Bank might be something you guys look into as well, because if you are a business that's got, services or products, maybe the products are growing some mold, languishing on shelves, and things are a little slow, or you're a service business that is curious about doing trade in a formal, proper way with protocol and procedure, Trade Bank is a good idea to look into, because you could trade with other businesses that do Trade Bank. It's like tapping into an alternate economy almost. So if you, go out and you do some jobs on trade, maybe things are slow, you just need to stay busy, maybe keep your talents and your experience sharpened. It's a good way to kind of do that, but also gain trade dollars that you can use for other things. Maybe you need phone system work. There are phone system vendors on Trade Bank that you can trade with that will help you establish your business. Maybe you need a paper vendor, things of that nature. Printing is a big thing. Maybe you just want to go to the local coffee shop and they take Trade Bank and use trade dollars for that. So it's really kind of cool, and you're always trading it based on what you pay. So only, if you could spend 30 cents to get a full dollar, that kind of thing. Make sense?
That's awesome.
And Trade Bank of Nashville the proprietor is Mr. Ed Fox, and he's a big dad joke aficionado. And I always tell people that listen to the podcast in and around Nashville, if you want to reach out to Ed, he is ultimately available, and he loves going to coffee. He loves meeting new people, especially in lunch and stuff like that. Reach out to him. You can't miss him. He's a tall guy. He always wears a hat. He's from Australia, so he's got that Crocodile Dundee kind of hat, and he's always wearing a loud shirt, and he's very pro-American, so you got to love the guy. The Dad Joke Challenge is a challenge, so if you laugh, I get a point. If I laugh, you guys get a point, and we're all going to be scored separately. You ready? 5 jokes. Here we go.
So what do you call the local area network in Australia? The Land Down Under.
the land down under. And you can groan too. You can make comments of like, that was awful or whatever. That's fine. You could totally do that. It's okay. Nothing.
I'm trying so hard.
Are you laughing at the joke or the awkwardness
I don't know.
All right, joke number 2.
Did you hear about the guy that fell into an upholstery machine? He's fully recovered.
I knew it was going to get you.
I tried.
So you both got, okay, that's 2 points for me. Nice. Number 3.
What do you call a man who gets into a fight with his cat? Claude.
It's a German man. Same as Claude. It's probably from Central Europe.
Not getting me there.
Not getting you? Didn't do it for you? Number 4.
What do you call a fake noodle? An impasta.
Impasta. You're laughing. There it is. Cool. Michael did not laugh. That's a point for him.
There's ice in those
She found it
veins.
impossible to contain her laughter.
It's the cynicism of the tradesman. All right. Last joke, I promise.
Did you know that a will is a dead giveaway?
I'm sorry, that got me. That got me. And again, are you laughing at me laughing at the joke?
I think I am.
Okay.
I think I am. I can't let you get one more point on me.
And Michael is stone-faced.
That's right.
That's right. Well, there you go. That was the Dad Joke Challenge.
Awesome.
You survived it. And you're probably asking yourselves, what did we get ourselves into at this point? But there's the Dad Joke Challenge. All the details are in the description. Seek out Ed. Let him know that you heard about us on the heard about him on the show. He's really is a great guy. Just to even get to know and everything. Very willing to help other people. Just a decent human being. And off we go. We're going to continue on with our content here with all things Avis. Avis, right?
That's right.
That one of the names that you guys got?
You know, Avis, however you want to pronounce it, as long as you give us a shout. If you have an electrical need, then call us whatever you'd like.
Now, you guys went up and down the coast. You before you landed in Kingsport, you started out in South Carolina, you said. Were you there as well, Lauren?
I grew up there.
Okay.
I
Where in South Carolina?
in a little town called York, about 45 minutes south of Charlotte.
Okay, so that would be considered the upstate?
Correct.
That's it.
I'm like asking yourselves, how does he know it's called the upstate?
That's good. You know your trivia.
You know how? I used to have to do radio station imaging for a station in Spartanburg. That's what it was.
That's
Very nice.
Yeah.
where my family's from.
Yeah.
Is it?
Simpsonville, yeah.
And that part of their language was always, we're rocking the upstate or whatever they said. So you guys, did you meet there in South Carolina?
No, we didn't. We actually grew up about a mile away from each other and never once crossed paths.
Oh, wow.
Not that we remember anyway.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, how'd you guys end up meeting?
I reached out to her online. We were already connected on Facebook because we're both from the same small town.
Right.
So everybody's friends with everybody else from that small town, so everybody can talk about each other.
Right.
But we don't talk about anybody.
Of course not.
But yeah, so I was starting Alpha One Defense Company, which is I was doing concealed weapons permits classes, home defense classes, and things like that.
Really?
Kind of on the side.
Right.
I was an NRA certified instructor and developed some classes of my own, and I was trying to take it seriously. So I reached out to her and said, hey, I don't know, as good as I am at shooting guns and teaching people how to shoot guns, I am not good at building websites or logos or anything like that. Can you help me out?
Right.
So she did. She put a logo together for me, and it had a lot of layers and a lot of components that we talk about in self-defense and home defense and stuff like that. And I thought it was really cool. So whenever I left working for someone as an electrician to being an electrical business owner, I naturally reached out to her again and, said, help me again, because as good as I am at twisting wires and petting dogs, I'm not very good at doing websites and creating logos. So
right.
She just took my words and turned it into Avis, so.
And your background, Lauren, was in the marketing world?
Yeah, somewhat. I was at the time building a dating app with a partner, and just out of necessity, needed to learn technical skills and how to market the business. You know, we were really trying to gain investors and a lot of traction in a short amount of time, and so that's how I just had to learn how to do it. So that's where my background came from.
Did you go to school for it or anything like that?
I didn't. My career path, I've spent 5 years just working for a small family business in Maine doing arcade games, pool tables, jukeboxes.
Like making them or selling them?
No, they put them into other establishments and would split the money with the business owner there. So they just maintained the games, changed them out, fixed them, repaired them. Then they got into the ATM business, and that did really well for them because the amusement side is been on a slow decline for many decades.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, it's still going, but it's not what it used to be. Kids are much more. They got games on their phone.
Yeah. There's no reason to get out of the house.
Yeah. It's
That's
been
the
a
parents
challenge.
make them.
Been a challenge in that industry.
So by virtue of necessity, you had to learn websites and coding and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I got divorced, and then I was a single mom, and I had taken a year off to have the baby and everything, so I didn't really know what to do next. I was really intrigued with real estate, so I went and worked for a real estate auction company and got my real estate license through them, and that's when I started. You know, I started my dating journey and just realized a lot of the problems in the online dating world. So I was trying to create a platform that was a lot safer. We did background checks on everyone, and that was, that was like my side project, and it just kind of took over my life.
Wow.
So I left the real estate world, and then everything kind of fell apart with my partner. I had a very bad partner.
It happens.
Yes. Yes, it does. So that is when Michael kind of reached out to me and I say rescued me from that situation.
Hey, Middle Tennessee electricians, handy women and men, and just those of you needing better commercial LED lighting solutions. Yeah, I know, there's so many of you. I have to tell you, there's another option than just the big orange and blue box stores now. Try j2lighting.com. At j2lighting.com, we have the latest technology in all types of commercial LED lighting, from UFO high bays, drawers, area lights, and shoeboxes, right on down to a slimline wall pack that doesn't look like a fist coming off the wall like most other wall packs do. You get what I'm saying, right? Many of our fixtures are wattage and color temperature selectable, which means you have more control over the brightness and appearance in your dark spaces. Check us out at j2lighting.com for a great local source for your commercial LED lighting ideas, even full color light show dreams. Yeah, totally. That's the letter J and number 2 lighting.com. j2lighting.com. So you did the website for the home defense company, right? That's an interesting business that you bring up. A buddy of mine is in the same business here.
Right.
It's called Defense Systems. His name is Brink Fiddler.
Okay.
And he was the guy, you remember the shooting at the Covenant that made the news back in October, I want to say? He did the training for that school.
Wow.
And at the time, I was sitting on my B&I, and it dawned on me, someone had let me know that he did the training, his company did the training for the school, and then the event happened. So I reached out to him and I said, man, hope you're okay and everything. He says, man, I'm just kind of processing this. I don't exactly, it's really kind of hitting me hard. I said, I completely understand, and I'm thinking to myself, what do you say to this, Yeah. And then it dawned on me, and I started typing out a text. I said, look, I would put money on the notion that the scenario would have been a lot worse had they not received your training, buddy.
Absolutely.
So if you can take something away from that.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I've been trying to get him on this podcast ever since. He is blown up.
Yeah.
I mean, he is so busy.
Yeah.
I said, hey, can you come by and do an episode in December? And this is maybe October, November last year. He goes, yeah, in 2025. I said, well, good for you. It's a interesting state of affairs to that, a business like yours is in demand.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. And I recently just got USCCA certified as an instructor for the concealed carry and home defense through their program. So, kind of exploring that area as well, because the ebbs and flows of the electrical field happen. We have the slow season in December.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, over the summer, I took a big risk of chasing a fixture company around to do some 5 and belows. We traveled to Alabama, Ohio, Wisconsin, stuff like that. And I kind of took my attention away from our local market. And when I came, I was betting all on a big contract that was supposed to be picked up in August. And August came and everything fell apart. And here I am back in August at the beginning of the school year, attempting to touch a customer base that I haven't touched in 3 months.
Right. And
it's just a slow season. So that the fact that I didn't set myself up over the summer like I should have, I took a risky bet and I lost on it. It really opened up the opportunity for me to, push myself to explore some of these other things and other options, while we're slow. And I'm not cutting the legs off of Avis to be able to explore some of the other things I'm also interested in as well.
Yeah. Well, you're also in the part of your business where you have to, cash flow is oxygen.
Absolutely.
So you got to go what's going to pay the bills.
Absolutely.
And that sometimes means saying yes to a lot of things that maybe it's not the best interest overall in the long run to say yes to, and you can kind of refine that over time. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like you're in a portion of your business at this point, or the lifespan, that you can be a little bit more selective. Of course, doubling down in your local community. You said in the pre-interview, if you will, that commercial has been more lucrative for you rather than residential service. Is that the case?
It was during that time, especially. So where we're at, there's a lot of, it's really saturated with electricians, and coming into the area, there's it seems 2 to 3 electricians posting in the local group that are, hey, we're new to the area, we're offering electrical services, or someone posts in a group, hey, I need an electrician, my fan's not working, for instance. And then you'll see, oh, this handyman, that handyman,
Right.
And it seems like people are either opting to do more of the work themselves, or go with the perception of the lesser cost, rather than hiring out for like a professional electrician. Because really, when we started this business, we didn't set out to be competition for Uncle John, who's been running his company out here for 25 years and stuff like that. We really set out to kind of build a national brand out of it and compete on the level of Mr. Electric and Mr. Sparky and things like that. Right. So,
but I mean, a lot of that is talent acquisition.
Sure, which is
a tough part in the trades, especially around here. If you're not fishing in the right ponds, man, oh my gosh.
Right. And
what's the rate that you like? Have you hired anybody to help you out?
Boy, have we tried. Boy, have we been fishing in the wrong ponds.
Yeah, it happens. It's not you. Trust me. I've been in this role before, and you got to go through about 15, 20 people to find the one.
Right.
And when you do find the one that hits, that checks all those boxes. We had a guy who was hungry to learn, sunk his teeth into the business, was good at it, was clean, he was efficient. We just had to work with him on pricing and things of that nature and help his sales game. He was great in front of clients. Everyone loved him. It was like just a perfect storm.
Sure.
And that's tough to find, man.
Yeah, no doubt.
And it's, you got to be grateful for guys like, Mike Rowe, who's out there championing the trades again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's so important.
Yeah. Because and kids need to know that it's okay to go into a trade. When I came out of high school, it was, if you go to, you're relegated to a trade if you didn't go to college. That's how the narrative was shaped.
Sure.
And that's what I did. College didn't work out for me, and it relegated me to a trade, which wasn't really in my blood. I was good at it. I just knew I had to do it was something in me that I knew I had to do something. I was meant for something different. And I ended up being radio. So it was still a great experience for me, though.
Yeah, no doubt.
And at the time, I worked for, I guess it was different in that area because I worked for established companies that were also really tied into the local trade school. So they were pulling talent out of there and shaping them to how they wanted to see them.
Sure.
Which I guess is kind of, have you guys thought about doing that with a local trade school or anything?
There is the TCAT. They've got the TCAT up in Morristown and Rogersville. And the program they teach at the TCAT is an industrial electrical program. So these guys are in there learning motor controls and...
Which is tough.
And what do they call the It's not PLS, is it? What is it called?
Yeah, I kind of get what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. So controls and stuff like that, and kind of going back to what I was saying about the license versus the person who's out doing commercial and residential work. When they go to take the license, there's questions about, squirrel cage motors and stuff in there. And it's like most of the stuff you're seeing out in the field as a residential or commercial electrician, you're not seeing that same stuff on the test.
Right.
And the test is really more about how well you can navigate that code book and kind of decipher what they're asking versus what it's saying in the code book.
Right. Not really practical experience.
Right. It's more of can you find this information and kind of dissect it.
Right. So in the local, have you guys really drilled down into making yourselves more known? Local Facebook pages, things like that.
Yeah. We've got a decent Facebook following, and as far as we are locally, and we try to stay active on there. We get told off, and when we go to someone's house, you guys got recommended a lot.
Nice.
And we just try to have a good reputation and do the right thing. And, being a 1-2 person operation here, sometimes things, overwhelm us in the summertime and springtime, and sometimes things slip through the cracks, but we really try to do our best about being good communicators and, taking care of our customers the best way we can.
Right. Well, we came across, there's an element of like a tactic that I'll share with you that a friend of mine did when I first became self-employed. I became familiar with him back in 2016, and he's from Chicago. His name is Bill Yuss, and he's a lifelong garage door guy.
Okay.
And since he's 16 years old, he's been in the garage door business, right? So at the time, I think he was late 50s, early 60s, well, probably late 50s. And he put up a special on Facebook. He just moved to town, wanted to restart a garage door business. And, hey, for $59, I'll come by, we'll inspect your garage door, and you'll get a free keypad. You put a code in and opens and closes your garage door. Cool. You know what? Done. Take my money. He comes out, great guy, made us feel at ease. He was very affable, very friendly, immediately just liked him, and he does his thing, puts the key code thing up, and then slaps the sticker above the garage door opener by the door. This way I always saw his branding. His business was Pro Door Doctors. So every Monday, or maybe even Tuesday, he would show up in all the local Facebook pages. Hey guys, don't forget this week we got this going on. He would always have some sort of not lost leader type of approach, but maybe it was just to kind of get him in so you'd get to know him, and he would do the same thing over and over again. He scaled that business from 1 truck to probably 7 in maybe 3 or 4 years.
That's awesome.
Just doing it. And to the point where he did something I'd never seen done on Facebook before. He didn't have to do that after a while. He became so well known that if anybody had a problem with a garage door, people championed him. Bill Yuss, Bill Yuss, Bill Yuss. It wasn't his company. It was the name. So like even in your situation, Michael, it might just be you. Maybe, the company, of course, will get the notoriety, but there's nothing about something about a personal brand that's powerful.
Sure. Absolutely.
Aligning it with that category. So every single time someone needed garage door problem fixed, his name would come up not just once, but numerous times in the comments. So he instantly would get the business. Here's the thing that really shocked me. One person, for whatever reason, decided to have a bad experience with him. And she went on Facebook and shared it with everybody. And everybody came out of the woodwork to his defense.
Wow.
He didn't have to say a damn thing.
That's awesome.
What is that? That's what you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that speaks volumes.
It really does. And that's it's not brain surgery or rocket surgery, as I say, to get that kind of an effect. You just do a good job. You show up on time. You're clean. You get the job done. You price it fairly, and you leave them happy.
Right.
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 It's not that hard.
Right.
Well, in theory.
A wise man once taught me that anything you can do in someone's home that takes less than 20 minutes and less than $20, you do that for free, and that's your wow factor. You know, say you're walking through and you're saying, okay, so we got this light switch here. This operates the fan. This is how the light in the fan turns on. This is, the speeds that it runs on. You can see that it's high speed and then it's not wobbling. Oh, and by the way, I went through and I replaced all your covers on your outlets in this room as well, and the switches. I know that we didn't talk about doing that, but it's just something I thought I would do for you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Because what does it cost you to do?
Exactly.
Effort and, maybe $1 a plate.
Right.
And at the end of the day, it's just word of mouth advertising.
Absolutely.
And it's like, oh, and by the way, I made sure all the screws are aligned top to bottom because they're flathead, right? Do you do that?
That's right.
Yeah. You got to do that.
Yeah.
So moving on, you guys also, I came across Lauren first because here at J Squared, we've got something called J2 Lighting, where we're kind of, being that we're a lighting manufacturer with the Magnitude line of RGB full color lighting products, cheap plug. J2 Lighting was kind of a natural fit because that's what a lot of our business and even our experience kind of comes from, is the LED lighting world. In the conversion section. So commercial industrial lighting is kind of an expertise of ours. And we started an online store, an e-com store. You can go there right now. It's at j2lighting.com if you need commercial lighting. And I reached out to you because you started a page, Lauren, called Tennessee Electricians. I had presumed it was here locally. And I thought you guys are, local to Nashville. It was a surprise to me that you were in the northwestern or northeastern part of the state. How did that come about? Why'd you do that?
Well, we did that because when we started this, we really had big dreams of eventually franchising and really growing this brand and this business. And we felt like we could give great opportunities to veterans. We had the idea of starting a nonprofit and all kinds of things. So we started the group to just connect with other electricians in Tennessee and see if we could just meet the local talent, I guess.
Right. Kind of plant seeds if they want to have. So as a franchise model, you guys would provide logistics, procedures, systems, maybe some back office. Is that the idea?
Yeah, marketing, all
website
that.
marketing, coaching, support,
Business in a box they could take and start in their own backyard.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Because as an electrician turned business owner, I've learned that there's a lot that comes with running a business that as an electrician you don't learn, because I find what happens a lot of times is you have these electricians who go out and they're running their own van for a company and they're saying, oh, I can do this. I can, I can get a van. I can, and then once you get into it, you're thinking, holy cow, like this is,
what did I do?
I'm drowning now. I can't keep everything together. And then you hire people and then that comes with its own set of problems. And now you're trying to figure out how to do all of this. Wouldn't it be nice to have someone to call on and say, hey, have you ever experienced this before? Can you help me out through this? Or be on a weekly coaching call with us, as the franchisor, saying, hey, this is what you need to get done this week. How's that employee doing? Are there any red flags? How can we help you? You know what I'm saying? Having that type of support system, I think, would mean the most for our franchisees if we were to do the franchise.
Right. And how long you guys have been a company with AVES?
3 years now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you agree that the runway to get a business off the ground is probably going to take about 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's about what a lot of people that I've had on the podcast agree on. It takes about that long. And just about anything, even when I sold cars, a lot of people said, look, it takes about 5 years to get that flow of customers going, build your book of business, They come off of lease. You can get them into another car, that kind of thing. That seems to be the yardstick, with any given business, about a 5-year run. And a lot of people go into it, like what you said, to your point. Hey, why should I make all the money for the owner when I can just do this myself? And that's, if you've ever read the E-Myth, you ever read that book?
Absolutely.
Yeah. The technician, the manager, and the entrepreneur.
Yep.
Yeah. You end up owning a job.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. That's exactly what a lot of these guys do.
Yep. And we see it too. Is we've got 60-year-old electricians and plumbers out there who can hardly keep going in their job, but then they can't retire because they didn't build a foundation they didn't build on top of that foundation to have something that could carry them into retirement.
Right. Well, they anticipate they can sell the business and cash in for a large amount of money. And I've had people on the podcast before, guys who help business owners structure their business for sale at some point. He says the most heartbreaking conversation he has to have just about every single time is your business isn't worth what you think it is.
Right.
Because it requires you. We ourselves in a previous organization had an opportunity to buy another lighting company. They did lighting maintenance. And the guy who was selling it had all the relationships. And I said, okay, it's not with the company. So if it's interchangeable, if we step in, your customers aren't really going to know. Oh, no, they all know me. I said, well, I'm not paying you $850,000 for that.
Of course not.
No, your price just went down because are you sticking around for a couple of years to help us, blend this in? Oh, no, I'm out. Well, so are we. We're not buying you then. Yeah, that's just not happening.
Right.
And it was a hard conversation that he had to have with his business broker, because he didn't set it up right. So a lot of trades are like that. I mean, even the voiceover industry with what I do, it requires me being here.
Right.
So you guys also are you still moving forward with that model, franchise model?
Well, we learned that it's just very expensive to do. So we haven't been in a position to do that. I think it's still a dream for us. It's something that we would love to do.
Right.
I think there's huge opportunity.
Do you think it's one of those things that you kind of have to have the runway behind you, understanding of the systems procedures, the resources even of talent pools, things of that nature?
Right.
I think if you keep on going with that direction, in probably 10 or 15 years, you're going to have something for sure.
I think you're right.
Yeah, because I think the tide turning with what people think about trades, that, and more kids getting involved with trades. I'm seeing a lot more interest. I'm actually have been invited to do like a career day at the high school over here where my kids go, at the middle school. And, hey, it doesn't have to be college, guys. You can get into a trade. It's good money. It's in demand. It's honorable. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the last I checked, guys, there are a lot of TikTok channels with like the trades on it and like people showing you how they do things. And I mean, if you look at a true electrician's expertise, it's almost like an art.
It is.
Right? You see somebody bending the conduit and stuff like that and making them all go parallel to each other. That's an art form.
It really is.
You know what I mean? You're seeing a panel that's done the right way. It's like a work of art. Because we've all opened panels that look like a rat's nest.
Absolutely.
Right?
Often.
Yeah. And then, these guys, there's a guy out in East Tennessee. Man, I can't remember his handle, but he's got like 400,000 followers.
Wow.
And he just puts a video up and he shows, little time lapses. He'll set a camera up behind him and he'll doing a panel and stuff like that. He puts it up and it gets a crap ton of views.
That's awesome.
I don't see CPAs doing that, guys.
Right.
Or anybody who's in the white collar world. So it spurred another idea that you guys had, and it's kind of educating the consumer about electrical. That's you're kind of putting a course together now, correct?
Yes.
Tell us about that.
It's going to be called Empowered Academy, and what we've noticed is that within the field, there's right ways to do things and wrong ways to do things. But at the end of the day, once the work is completed, you see an outlet and a switch or whatever on your wall. You're not thinking about what's in the attic or behind the wall. And there's a disconnect there for the customer, I think. So where they don't understand the way that it's supposed to be done. So when it's done the wrong way or done kind of cut corners and stuff like that, they don't know that. Mm-hmm. We also have customers who are wanting to do some work themselves, take on redevicing their house, changing outlets, changing fixtures, small things like that, and of course we got a call a couple weeks ago. We had a customer. She wanted she was doing a remodel in her basement. She was pulling her wires and she'd gotten her drywall all up. And she called us in there because some things weren't working. Every time I flip the switch, now the breaker trips. So we go in there and I'm toning out wires. And I'm sitting here saying, okay, well, we're missing a wire between like 3 of these spaces. Drywall's already up. Yeah. So now she's got to take all the drywall down, pull wire again. And what we want to do is provide people with a resource where they have the education up front, where we created an ebook called the Residential Electrical Essentials, where we cover everything from a service, like outside from the utilities coming inside. We talk about fuse panels, breaker panels. We give diagrams about how switches and outlets are wired, the proper way to strip your wire, wire ampacity and things like that, just to help everybody understand what's going on with their electrical system. So if you do have someone who does want to tackle the work, they can do so confidently and safely. And if you have someone who says, I don't want to do the work, when they do hire that person, whether it is a handyman or a professional tradesperson, when that person comes in, they'll be able to look at the work they're doing and say, okay, I know that looks right because I've been educated on this. I know what it's supposed to look like. Right. Right. So, or if they open something up and they see it's unusual and they say, okay, I know this is above my pay grade. Now I know to call an electrician. Right. Because we don't want everybody doing everything, but you have, different levels of competency, right? And different levels of desire for completing electrical work. So we want to be able to educate everyone, from the people who don't want to do it, but do want to understand it, to the people who, maybe you are a handyman and, you're changing out switches and outlets now, and maybe you just want to add extra services to your repertoire. Right. So if you want to learn more about electrical as a handyman, that would be good for them too. Mm-hmm.
Kind of a crash course.
Right.
Base knowledge. Yeah,
we'll go from everything in the full course. We'll go from everything from basic electrical theory, understanding ohms and Ohm's law, resistance, and all the way up to how to do a panel change and things like that. We'll get into some kind of intricate work. And
panel change is not easy. It's easily a 6-hour job.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Anytime we do a panel change, we say it's at least a full day. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Because you got to get in there, you got to turn off the main feed, and I mean, the most daring of daring, I guess, could do it with the feed live, but you don't want to.
We've seen crazy things out there. Yeah. Yeah.
I actually did that with my son. I didn't do that with my son, but I showed him a panel in one of the jobs, the one I was showing you before with the colored tubes. Mm-hmm. He came up for a day and helped us, and he's like, "What is all this stuff?" And started asking questions. And okay, come here. This place is under renovation. Some panels were wide open and didn't have any breakers in them. They weren't live. But I said, here's the source. Here's the kind of like the central nervous system of this particular section of the building. We've got one like it in the house. This is where the main power comes in, then branches off to all the switches, the lights, the outlets, all that stuff. And, think of it as, a main amount of power coming in, and then you want to branch it off, but only want it to give it a little bit of, the amperage. And kind of base explained it that way.
Absolutely.
I think he got it, Yeah. He's like, can I touch that? I said, you can touch this, but don't ever do that. Right. You don't ever, because you never know when it's hot. Right. Unless you have a hot stick or a meter or something like that. And don't ever touch those metal plates.
That's right.
Bad idea. Yeah. You will be knocked against a wall.
Yeah. Safety's always first,
The last thing somebody that as a homeowner wants to do is try and bend, 3 or 5 out wire. Right. Because that's not fun.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah. I used to have one of those things in my production studio when I got into radio, because I was transitioning from electrical into radio at the time. And we finished a job at a college, actually the college I went to. I had one of those days where I was questioning my life's decisions. And I was out in the rain all day. It was we were feeding a 4-phase feed into the pole box in the ground. And there was a guy on the other end pulling it into the room with a puller and everything. One guy was in the hole with the lube. I was, I think, feeding. I was the guy that had to pull all the wires together and between my legs and feed it into the hole to the guy with the lube.
Right.
And then there were 4 other guys pulling it off the reels.
Yeah.
Right. Because, I mean, you're talking about a wire that is about 1.5 inches, maybe 1.25 inches in diameter and weighs about 7 pounds a foot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's no small task.
No.
No small task.
So I had a piece of it that was about 3 feet long. I would keep it in my production studio, and I called it my production bat. That was, 21 pounds.
It's like wrestling an alligator.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, we did a service feed over in the trailer park in Gatlinburg. Was it Gatlinburg or Sevierville?
I can't remember.
But yeah, we had to use a 500 kc mil wire.
Yeah.
And it's just a monster.
It is. It's not fun.
You think that 4-aught service wire is thick, and then you get some of that 500 kc mil, and you're like, my God.
Yeah, it's massive.
Yeah.
There was actually, they had a transformer room in one of the buildings. And so like what you'd see on the poles was actually in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And the room was completely sealed off, locked up all the time. They opened it up to check something out. And you would go in that room and it was so unnerving. Like you'd feel like your soul separating from your body with the amount of power that was
Right.
coming in there. It was nuts.
Just humming with it.
Very off-putting, So moving on, what have you guys, how do people reach and find and follow you and all that fun stuff? Website?
Yeah, we're at avesusa.com. We've got myempoweredacademy.com as well. We can
Mind Powered?
My Empowered.
My Empowered. Okay.
So on the My Empowered Academy, we're gonna that's where people are gonna be able to get the free ebook that we're giving out. We also have a My Empowered Academy focus group on Facebook that we're trying to release exclusive content in there and give exclusive offers in there for when we do release the course. And on the My Empowered Academy website, we're hoping to host the courses on the website there so people can do a student login and come in and kind of progress through the course that way. It's going to be, we've got 12 sections to the course right now. So we're in the stages of recording the first section of it. So it's all pretty exciting,
Nice.
because people are already out there doing the work. There are, one thing that we've gotten to the local Facebook groups and we said, hey, if I put together a free ebook about doing residential electrical work, who would be interested?
So you did a little market research.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got a lot of good feedback. A lot of people saying, oh, please let me know when you're doing this. Are you going to do it live? Are you going to do it local? How much is it going to cost? This and that. Asking lots of great questions. And
yes,
you'd have an electrician pop in there sometime and, oh, I think this is a terrible idea and so on. And I'm like, and it's only because, the customer will now know what you know.
Yeah.
And that empowers the customer, to not get taken advantage of, and B, to be able to save some money. And the way that Lauren and I have always looked at it, we've told all of our customers, hey, if you want to change out your light switches, if you want to, do this or that, if you feel comfortable doing it, do it, and call us when you're uncomfortable. Right. Just trust us with the stuff that you don't
Even
want.
if you want us to come and check it out before you power everything on.
Absolutely. We actually just did that for a customer. We call it the Inspect and Connect services, where the customer wired up his own garage, and we came out there and we took a look at everything that he pulled, nailed up boxes, pulled all the boxes, had a sub panel in there. We checked the wire, made sure everything was the right size. And then he put his drywall up, got his drywall up. We came in, looked at his outlets that he had installed, looked at how he got his wires on his panel, and we landed the wires on the panel, in the sub panel, and in the main panel, turned everything on and checked it, and he saved a lot of money. Instead of hiring someone out to do all the work, he did the work, and we came in and made sure that everything looked good and was correct.
It's almost like as you're talking, I hear and see things in a certain light. Like in this case, Avis USA, AVESUSA.com is the master brand. The veteran aspect is certainly appealing and has a lot of power and differentiation to it, especially if you start, maybe seeking out other veterans to work with you.
Right.
Fully veteran staff, that kind of thing. But, if you had like a positioning statement with empowered in it, hey, because there's so many themes there, power, all that stuff. But it's like we want to make sure you're in the know. If we're coming out and doing a job for you, we'll explain what we're doing.
Absolutely.
We're going to empower you with the knowledge to let you in on what it is that what we're doing. Even if you want to shop around, we're going to show you, okay, when you do shop, make sure they're going to do this. Make sure they're going to do this. Make sure they're going to staple the wires up. If, they're going to punch through the back of a box for a switch or something like that, just know that's not the right way to do it.
Right.
All right. We've seen a lot. We know a lot. There's a lot of handymen out there that are doing electrical work, which they shouldn't be doing. And they know that. Even though the price might be alluring, the empowerment is key.
Absolutely.
Something like that, maybe. Maybe there's an idea there you can run with.
Absolutely.
So, well, there you go, man. Any other things you guys want to cover before we wrap up?
I just want to say that you got great lights.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And
The ones above us or in the back over here?
in the back, and we
talk
highly
about those for a
recommend
second?
them.
Sure. Yeah, we've got an ad that runs and people know about J2 and all that fun stuff. So this is more about you guys for sure.
But just, I think from what we've seen on the market and installed for our customers, I think that it was really great.
To see an ad is one thing, but to see these things in real life and to hold them, they're light enough where they're comfortable to install, but they're heavy enough where they're going to withstand the elements and the storm out there.
Yeah.
They got color temperature changing. You can dim them. I mean, just the all the range of options that you have with the light stands it apart from any other light out there that I've seen.
Yeah.
I think it's a great product, and I think we're going to try to find a little market just for it. So
That'd be wonderful. Yeah.
That's how much we do like it is I think we're going to try to put it everywhere we can.
Right on. Very cool. Well, we appreciate that. I mean, it was solving, kind of filling a void in the market.
Yeah, absolutely.
In terms of solving a lot of different things, even combining the mounting system for the shoebox was something that was intentional. I have not seen that yet,
right.
In terms of a combination.
Certainly innovative.
Yeah. So that's what we try to do. Well, there you go. We're going to wrap up, and this has been the Mostly Middle Tennessee Business Podcast. Once again, please follow, subscribe, rate, review. BHAG, Big Hairy Audacious Goal for 2024, probably 2025. 10,000 average downloads per episode is what we're going for. If you can help us out, that would be great. If you know somebody here in the Middle Tennessee area that you think would be a good fit to be on, let us know. Go to the website, MMTBP.com. Link is right there to apply to be a guest on the show. And of course, you can also listen. You can watch the show, find all the clips, join an email newsletter if you so choose to keep up with things, and always empowering the Middle Tennessee entrepreneur and business owner and professional. Mostly MMTBP.com. Guys, thanks for making the trip out here. It's been wonderful to talk to you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.